had gotten a little bit of an exposure to economics and really kind of was fascinated by economics. I know it's kind of an unusual calling, but that's really the finance side of things that really kind of called me, the numbers and the behaviors of individual people. So I wanted to do something different. Started scouring the ads and saw a help wanted ad for a credit union. Having gone to school in Madison, Wisconsin, I was probably one of the very few people in that era that knew what a credit union was. Madison was one of the few towns that had lots of credit unions.
I went to school at Southern Mississippi. I graduated with an associate's degree. The whole time I worked at a credit union. I live and breathe credit union. I've been in this industry for 23 years. And I went to work for a bank for 3 days and went running back to my credit union. And thank God they still had a position for me, because that doesn't always happen. But it runs in my family, literally. My sister's a CEO of a credit union. I'm a VP. My son works at a credit union. My nephew works at a credit union. So it's deeply embedded into my roots.
I am a graduate of University of North Texas. I did not plan to go into a career with credit unions or financial services. In fact, my original intent after graduating from college was to enter law school and become a lawyer. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at that, I met my wife my senior year in college, and we ended up getting married, and I had to get a job. Couldn't go through law school, and so I ended up kind of coincidentally in the banking field. And then through the course of that, I ended up at a credit union and learned a whole different philosophy, a way of doing business. The whole credit union philosophy really appealed to me. I was in a similar position at the first credit union I worked for, where I worked hard, I learned everything I could, and then when an opportunity came along, I got the branch manager position at the age of 24, and then rose through the ranks of that credit union, and ended up eventually coming to Unity One as the chief operating officer. And then when the CEO at that time retired, I was promoted to CEO.
So I started at Unity One as a teller at campus, and so from being in campus, I just thought that there's more that I wanted to learn and more that I wanted to do than just being a teller. So there was an opening in the contact center, and I heard that's the best place to learn. So I just jumped in the contact center, not knowing much, and they just give you so much information, so much to do. There's so many situations that you can help members and talk to them and get their problems solved. So from there, I went into card services, and that's where I am today.
I started out in an entry-level position here at the credit union right after high school, and I honestly didn't even know what a credit union was. But I came on, if I was offered a new position or to learn a new task, I accepted it and just kind of went from there. I grew, in different leadership positions, and I went to classes, I went to meetings, seminars, so it goes back to just accepting new challenges and growing. And so 15 years later, I'm a manager, and I still love it.
I started at 18 years old, 2 months after I graduated, as a teller, and I was working through college, and it just happened to be that there was an opening in the call center to sub because of an illness. And so I went in and I worked hard and I was learning, and it ended up that I was able to stay in that position. And then a few years later, I actually heard about an opening in the back office and data processing, and I was expecting our first child, so it worked perfectly that I could go to part-time, I could work evenings, and not have to worry about childcare like so many people have to do. So there I worked for a couple of years until the IT department was growing and they needed that position to be full-time. And so I actually moved over to accounting and was working part-time from home and accounting from home until a few other changes in the accounting department changed, and then I was able to go back to full-time. And so I've been doing this in this current position and role for about 8 years.
I started right after high school, and there's different trainings that you can take, that you get invited to or sent to, and there's motivational speakers that teach you different things. different topics, and they let you get out of your comfort zone, and you learn so much from going to them. You don't really need to go to college to start your career. This helped me so much. I'm already an assistant branch manager without having to do any of that.